Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Hump day, hump day, hump day. We're on card number 15 of getting into the vortex / self-awareness, which is basically us decorating the house of self-love that we have now built. First, it's a full moon. So I believe it's a full moon in Gemini. So I'm going to do a quick card pull on that for, just to read that part. And it's also Self-Care Wednesday, but I forgot it was Self-Care Wednesday, so I'm not ready. So anyways, we'll just look for this one. It's actually the full moon in Gemini, if I remember correctly. I tried to do my homework on these things, but sometimes I legit pull up the wrong information. Good morning, older sibling. So let's just get to this, then we'll get to the little thoughtful cards. Good morning, Eileen. And then we'll get to the vortex card or the self-awareness card. So full moon in Gemini, because that's what it is today. So this card is a reminder that it's important to speak your truth, but remember that your words have consequences and impact your listener. Right now, you need to guard against indiscretion. The answers you need may well come soon. The issue you're facing could well be one or a few conversations away from being resolved. If you're inquiring about a love situation, a little flirting may be called for. If you're in the middle of an argument, this card comes to you as a reminder of the old, very non-Gemini message, least said, soonest mended. So least said, soonest mended. It's good to talk, but be careful you aren't causing yourself any issues with your words. Words have enormous power, as metaphysician Florence Scovel Shinn put it. Your word is your wand. So I have to say I'm excited about that, because older sibling and I, we did one of her books. We did one day chapter by chapter, and it was actually the word is your word is your wand. So create magic. You create magic in your own reality every time you express yourself. I'm sorry, I'm a little off this morning, and I'm not really sure why. I think I'm rushing because I have somewhere to be right after this show. But so I do apologize in advance. But so basically, it's saying your word is your wand. And Gemini they're the twins, right? They're the twins. They're almost like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I hate to say that because I know a lot of Geminis, but in a way they are kind of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You might get one, you might get the other, but it's about balance. I get that the Libra is more about balance, but it really is about a balance between the two, and how we kind of move through life in these moments where we have this feeling or that feeling or this feeling or that feeling. So when you hear the words of Florence Scovel Shinn saying your word is your wand, it really kind of is. This is the vibrational thing, just like the vibrations we're talking about on these self-awareness cards, these vortex cards. And what vibration you put out is what you're going to get back. So be careful what you put out there. Be careful what you say. And it's like I've said a million times, if you say something that you do not mean, I do not wish to manifest this into reality. Okay, I do not, just nip it in the bud, ASAP. I do not wish to manifest this into reality. So attune to the moon. Have an important conversation, but stay calm. Additional meanings for this card. Don't be superficial. Someone is trying to flirt with you. Have you noticed? I'm so bad at that. I would not notice if somebody was. You need to laugh off the situation and just move on. Job applications have good prospects. Oh, that's good to know. The teaching. Talk, and more talk as the emotional full moon moves into the communicative sign of Gemini. It's too easy to say too much, so mind how you go if you pull this card. This card can also indicate an enjoyable social event. Since the full moon in Gemini is a great time for socializing, this card also says, this card is also well for any study you're either taking or considering. Wow, I just tripped over that whole thing, didn't I? Geminis were not kind to me today. So anyways, there's that. So let's get to the thought cards before we hit into the vortex cards. Actually, this is interesting. I'm looking at the front of today's card, and I think you will find it interesting as well, because what we just talked about your word is your wand. Be careful what you say. There's always a possibility of saying too much or not enough. The card coming up is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. So I think you'll like it. You'll be like, whoa. So anyways, let's see what the thought cards have for us, and then we'll move right into the other. Whoops. Okay, there's one. Oh, there's another one. And it looks like we just have two. All right. All right then. So the second one that popped out. You live in a waking dream all day and all night. So play the role you desire and create the world you want. Seriously, this is like right as what we were talking about. Play the role you desire and create the world you want. We were literally just talking about that in the Gemini thing. You know, the Gemini, the full moon in Gemini, it's about putting out there what you want, putting out there, you know, watching what you say, and just, you know, doing it. Just do it. I mean, Nike tells you this all the time, right? Just do it. So again, you live in a waking dream all day and all night. So play the role you desire and create the world you want. That's a vibrational thing. Flow, it's a feeling. Are you in it? Find your way there now. Find your way there now. Flow. Go with the flow. Or you have to flow, you have to go through it to flow through it, right? So, these are really good cards. These are really, really good cards. And I really think they make an excellent segue into today's card, which is, I have complete control over my own thoughts. I have complete control over my own thoughts. So it kind of looks like an alien or an angel with a halo mixed with all the little scientific symbols, right? So you can find yourself in an endless loop where you explain that you feel negative because of the negative behavior of someone else. But if instead you take control of your own emotions and you think an improved thought because it feels better to do so, you can turn it around. You have no real control of what anyone else is doing with their vibration or with their actions for that matter, but you have complete control over your own thoughts, vibrations, emotions, and point of attraction. So again, I have complete control over my own thoughts, and you can find yourself in an endless loop where you explain that you feel negative because of the negative behavior of someone else. But if instead you take control of your own emotions and you think an improved thought because it feels better to do so, you can turn it around. You have no real control of what anyone else is doing with their vibration or with their actions for that matter, but you have complete control over your own thoughts, vibrations, emotions, and point of attraction. This is a really good card. This is a really good card. A lot of times when we're angry, we want to blame other people, but this is what they call breaking the cycle. We don't have to live in a mindset that somebody else is living in. We don't have to live and exist in their mindset. And I think a lot of times we think we do. I think a lot of times we feel that pressure to just agree, right? And there was something I saw today that says, you don't have to agree with anything you don't agree with just to make things okay. Because that's trauma to yourself. Because you're not living who you are. You're not living your you, your personal you, your very being. Right? You're living someone else's life. You're living someone else's thoughts. And, you know, there are times when I go onto social media and, there's just, you know, I keep my Facebook shut down. So I'm talking other social media, mostly Twitter. And there's just so much venom there. So much vitriol. Is that the word I'm looking for? It's just gross on there sometimes. I mean, 100% gross on there. I have two accounts. One I use for more of my mental health advocating, and that one seems to stay okay. But the other one that I've had since like 2009, you know, it's like 13 years I've had this account. And in the last couple of years, it's just gotten so ugly on there. I mean, since basically 2016. But it's just gotten ugly and uglier and uglier. And you have and then, you know, you go on there and you're looking for the fun stuff and, you know, you see these great posts and then all of a sudden you see someone, you know, commenting or you see somebody, you know, like something. So it ends up in your feed and you're like, good Lord, why? Why? And it's not one-sided, it's two-sided. But it's like, why? Why are you carrying somebody else's anger? It's like, do we even believe in half the stuff that we sit and say we believe in? You know, or are we just going along with it because it's a reason for us to be angry? Maybe we have some kind of repressed emotions inside. And that's what I like about this card. I have complete control over my own thoughts. You are your own person. You are your own thinker. There's a lot of times when I sit there and I'm like, oh, I'm going to reply to this, and I have a reply ready to go, and I hit cancel. And I hit cancel because I'm like, I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to open that can of worms. I don't want to, go down that ugly rabbit hole, because it's not worth it to me. Somebody else's thoughts are not my own thoughts, and I can't control what they think. I can't control their vibration. But the one thing I've learned on this journey I've been on, the more negative shit you put out there, the more negative shit you're going to get back. And it may be subtle, or it may just knock you upside the head so hard you fall down and go, wow, what happened? But the more you start to believe, and the more you start to trust and have faith and have, just this ability to find the positive in things, that's how we change the world. So all this icky stuff that's happening, all this complaining, and I'm not saying don't share stuff that means something that's important. Like there are people that are, fighting for something important. In England, they are having like a railway strike or something. I don't know all the particulars because I don't live there. But there's this one guy who's really fighting for the man, really fighting for the little guy. And I don't mean to say the little guy, but in comparison to who's making all the money, the little guy, right? And it affects a lot of people. But this one guy that's fighting for him, it's like, I could listen to him all day because he's got his facts down. He knows what he's talking about. And all the people that come in and try to trip him up, they look stupid. I mean, they legit look stupid. I mean, I could follow this all day. But that's what I'm talking about. People who don't just come in and spew anger and hate and all this ickiness. He's coming in and he's fighting for someone. But all the other people coming up against him are the ones trying to make him look bad. Trying to say, oh no, you're wrong, this, that, and the other. And they'll try to cut him off to make their point, and he just keeps talking. That's the one thing I love. He doesn't stop. He just keeps talking. And you're so zeroed in on him that you hear him. But he has control over his own thoughts. He knows what he's going in there for. He knows his purpose. He's not trying to make excuses for people. He's not trying to, belittle anybody. But if it happens, it happens. Because sometimes people, we trust these big, big things, right? But we blindly trust them. We think, oh, well, they think like me, so they must be okay. But are they really? Do you want to be a person that follows anger across the board? Do you want to be a person that follows something that makes you angry all the time? That gives you, maybe maybe you have these repressed feelings and this pain inside. So you're sitting there going, well, I like this. And then you kind of get this anger out for a moment, right? But you're not dealing with whatever it is that's hurting you. I spent a lot of years doing that. I spent a lot of years pushing aside things that hurt me. The traumas I've been through, the stuff. And then I realized my mindset started to change when I finally looked inward. I did that shadow work. I did that whatever it is I needed to do to heal myself, to heal whatever pain I was carrying. But I had to make that choice. I had to make that choice to stop and have complete control of my own thoughts. Not let what happened to me run my life. Not let what happened to me destroy everything. Yesterday I was on Twitter and somebody said, explain your childhood in one word. And this one girl put conflicted. Now, I know we've talked about this on the perspective before when I've talked about like how I said that there's this one word I just need to find that will help me understand more, because I said there was this one me that suffered a lot of bad things, and there was this other me that had wonderful parents and wonderful family and just this other great life. And for so long, I could not understand. Then somebody answered, conflicted. And I'm telling you, that's the word that set me free. It's an odd word to feel set free by, but it was like that last piece of the puzzle. It was conflicted. There was this, it was no longer that duality of having this one persona versus another persona and trying to mix them together. It was conflicted because there's all this bad stuff happening and all this, mind bending in the wrong direction. But then you have this other side. It's like literally having an angel and a devil sitting on your shoulder, right? And they're like playing tug of war with your thoughts and your brain and your hearts and your feelings. Hearts. We're Doctor Who. We have more than one heart. But they're pulling and they're trying to win. And who do you want to win? You want the better, positive side to win. So there was a lot of pain in my healing. There was a lot of crying in my healing. But that one word yesterday, that one word, it was that period on that sentence that I needed. Because there was conflict. And it wasn't with anybody, but what was happening in my head and what had happened to me. And once I understood that, and once I heard that word, it was like the heavens opened up and all the angels started singing, right? Like, oh my God. And again, I know it sounds strange, but this is what we're talking about when it says I have complete control over my own thoughts. You can find yourself in an endless loop where you explain that you feel negative because of the negative behaviors of someone else. But picking up on other people's negative behaviors and blaming them for it, you can start to blame them because maybe this is something that you picked up in your childhood, maybe the complaints or whatever and all this other stuff and people reacting this way and people reacting that way. But at what point do you take responsibility for yourself? At what point do you say, no, this is not how I want to feel. This is not who I am. This is not the person I was meant to be. And when we stop and we ask ourselves these questions, and we stop and we sit there and go, okay, what do I need to do to be better? And we go inside and we do that shadow work. We do all the necessary healing that we need to do. And we move forward. There may be times when maybe you don't agree with, what somebody else is saying, and you'll agree to disagree. To me, agreeing to disagree is not the same as agreeing with someone just to keep the peace. Because you're literally saying, look, we're at an impasse. We're not getting anywhere. It's just going to end up bad. But when you sit there and go, when you completely avoid your own feelings to spare somebody else's, who may be hurting you or who just may be disagreeing with you and you don't want to fight anymore. So you say, yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. But how does that leave you feeling? Does it leave you feeling fulfilled? No. You're like, okay, I kept the peace, but there's no inner peace because you weren't heard. You didn't feel like you were being heard. And so to me, that's why I think there really is a difference between agreeing to keep the peace and agreeing to disagree to keep the peace. Because again, you know that your opinion may not be somebody else's, but you walk away, just with this peaceful notion that, okay, we're done. There's a lot of people that I know that I've shifted gears in recent years. And the interesting thing is I shifted gears as I came into my healing. And I realized, especially in social media, I don't want to be angry every time I open it up. But I still go there to post my positive crap or to post just stupid nonsense. My one account that is so old, my goalie fan 1973, that's just dumb shit that I post. Sometimes it's just ridiculous things that I've done during the day, or maybe there's a lot of positive stuff, which isn't dumb shit at all, that I also share on my mental health account. And, the thing is that when I first started the mental health account, I thought, well, I really want to advocate. I really want to advocate. And that was my whole point for setting that up. But I found a community that helped me heal, that helped drive me the rest of the way. Yes, I have wonderful family and friends. Yes, I have wonderful siblings who help me through things. But it helped me because you see other people going through what you're going through. They don't know you from Adam and Eve. They don't know you from squat. But you see yourself in them. And then you see the people that have progressed a lot farther and you're like, wow, that's where I really want to be. And now I'm that person. I'm that person who's progressed. I'm that person that's looking back and trying to help others because others were there to help me. And that doesn't mean I don't fall apart from time to time. Hey, life ain't perfect. The world's still spinning. My brain is never going to be the brain I wanted it to be. It's always going to have these moments where my depression or anxiety kicks up and I've got to maintain it and I've got to take care of it. I like to think of it as being like an old, you know, car, right? Maybe this car has been in your family for generations, but it needs work and it needs to be taken care of. It needs maintenance, but you still drive it because you still love it. And I still drive it because I still love it. You know, I mean, that this is my brain. And it is what it is. And that's why it's very important that we remember this card. I have complete control over my own thoughts. You get to choose what brings you joy and what doesn't bring you joy. You get to, but you don't anymore get to feel negative because of somebody else's negative behavior. I know sometimes it might seem hard, and maybe that's kind of a harsh thing to say, that you don't get to do that anymore. You might be at the beginning of your journey. But if you're, sorry, this hair is bothering me. If you have progressed along this journey, if you have come a long, long way, let go of the old habits. I was talking about how a couple Saturdays ago, well, the weekend before last, I got this excellent TED Talk. And it was something I needed because I was, it's like standing at that finish line and someone needing to push you over, and you don't know why you're standing there. I mean, your time is building up. I mean, you could have crossed and had this fabulous time, but you're sitting there going, whoa, what next? Or maybe you've been on this journey for so long, you don't know how to progress into the next stage because it's scary. Change is scary, and change and I do not go well together. But I'm learning how to see the adventure and, the excitement in change, in the unknown. I mean, that's what makes things so exhilarating. That's what makes life so much fun when we allow it to, because change is normal. Change happens every day. You don't, you don't drink the same cup of coffee every day. You might drink the same flavor, right? But maybe there's a different ratio in it, or maybe you use a different cup. That's change. And you might be thinking, well, that's a dumb example, but it's not. It's a small point on how every day something is different. Maybe if you're a girl, you don't wear the same makeup every day. That's change. Maybe you decide, hey, I want to try this different mascara, and you think, oh yeah, this might actually be better for me. But that's change. We do all these little things, but then when big change comes along, we freak out. And we think, oh my God, my life's going to end. No, it won't. Just like that mascara you're using, whoever might use mascara, anybody across the board. Maybe it turned out to be the best thing in your life, and maybe it didn't. So you go back to something else, or you try something new. You either go back to what worked, or you move forward. And if you move forward, who knows? You might find something that works with what used to work. But it's change. So instead of looking at the next step as being this black hole, look at it as an open field with potential. That this beautiful, maybe it's a grassy field, or maybe an ocean, maybe a lake. Look at the reason I say a field is there's potential. Trees, flowers, grass, picnics, parks, playgrounds. It's a big open field, and that's what life is. You get to journey and you get to build whatever you want along the way. And when you have control of your own thoughts and you really firmly stand behind them and trust them, these thoughts of yours, you can make magic happen. Your word is your wand. Your action is your wand. Your thoughts are your wand. And, it's not like you just aim and point like Harry Potter. No. But remember, here's the thing. Remember, I was just seeing in Harry Potter, I think it was in the first movie. Sorry, it gets a little, because there's so many, right? But I think it was in the first movie. And it was in the first movie. And they have their wands and they're trying to make the feather fly, right? And Hermione just does it. All right. Now, Hermione's a muggle, which is basically a human with magical powers. But, she just does it. But Ron is sitting there going, I mean, his feather catches on fire. His feather does all kinds of stupid things. He can't get it right. The difference is She believed that she could do it. He was worried. He was freaking out. He was doing all kinds of Ron Weasley things. And, you know, if you haven't read the book, the point is when you trust and believe in what you're putting out there, what you're putting out there will come back to you the way it is meant to. It may not come back to you the way you want it to, but it'll come back to you the way it's meant to. And when it does that, you're going to feel that. And you're going to feel that sense of accomplishment. But you can't do it if you're standing on the wrong side of the finish line. You have to be brave enough to step over it. Have courage. I had to have courage, and it was scary. It was super scary. I mean, just taking one step forward was super scary. Did it change the rest of my day? No. Did it change the rest of my life? Yes. Because I could feel it in my mindset. And that is still going, you know, almost a week and a half later. I'm still riding that high. Because every time I start to take a step backwards, I remind myself of those words that were said to me. I remind myself that I am in charge of who I become, who I am, and where I want to go. And you're allowed to change your mind. You know, I was talking to another friend the other day, and they were talking about this other friend who he doesn't want to go back to school because he feels too old. I have a friend that went back to school in her early 40s, graduated last year, has a degree, super excited. And I was excited because she would share a lot of stuff with us. And I love that the other day she was talking about how she missed being in school because her professors would be talking about the eruption happening in Hawaii right now. And it's like, man, I'm bummed too, because I want to know, because she would share it with us. And, you know, it's kind of learning through somebody else, because it's not my field. That's not something I'm interested in really, you know, diving deep into. But the point is, we're never too old to learn. Some people sit there and say, well, yeah, but I'll be X amount of years old when I get out. Who cares? Who cares? If you can apply it to your life, do it. If you can make sure that you are going to utilize it somehow, do it. If you don't think you're going to utilize it, but it's something you've always wanted to do it anyway. Do what brings you joy. Don't worry about a couple of years from now. Just go through the motions of enjoying something that you have chosen to do for yourself. Control your thoughts. Be in charge of your thoughts. Be the boss of your life. You know, be the boss of your life. Don't worry about other people's negative behaviors. I catch myself, like I said, every time. Sometimes I'll go into social media, I'll see somebody, and the only reason I'm saying somebody I know is because that's how these things end up in my feed. Because they're people I know that will like certain things or comment on certain things, and I'll see it and it's like, oh Lord. And it's not something I agree with, but it's not for me to tell them how to think, because that's their opinion. So even though I don't agree with it, I have to learn sometimes to just, you know what? You can't change people. We can't change people. We can't fix people. We can't make them think the way they think. I used to be a lot like this person. But like I said, and I don't know if they have any trauma to heal or not. I don't know. But for me, I did. And the more I started to heal, and the more I started to get my trauma packed away into a steamer trunk so that it doesn't bother me anymore. Kind of like at the end of Indiana Jones, right? When they bury the Ark of the Covenant in this big ass warehouse. Like that. There's a big ass warehouse in my mind where this steamer trunk is gone now. And yeah, every so often it'll surface. Every so often bad thoughts will try to break into it and free it. But I'm in control. And like I said, I'll start typing out these responses, and then I'm just like, no. It's not going to do anything. You're just going to go down a rabbit hole. And a lot of times when you're going down these rabbit holes, people who don't even know you jump in, and they start making you feel bad about yourself. They start making you feel like you're stupid to have these opinions and these thoughts. And we don't need that. So sometimes we just have to be strong enough to walk away, to just close it down and go, no. You know, and sometimes it's hard because, you know, one of the people I'm talking about is actually somebody I know. And I don't mean like just know online. I mean, personally know. It is a good friend of mine. And I just realized, you know what? We're all different, and that's what makes us unique. That's what makes us special. And that's what's important. It's just to value other people's opinions, whether you agree with them or not, and to always really kind of do our best to not let it get in the way of friendship and familyhood and all this stuff. I think that's the saddest part, is when we let opinions destroy our relationships with people, you know. And so, you know, there have been times when I've said, there are a lot of times when I have to agree to disagree with my dad, but he's my dad and I love him. I don't love his opinions, but, and he certainly does not like mine. He certainly does not like mine. There are occasions when I get called a hippie. So, and I politely correct him and say, that's a flower child to you, pal. But, I know I can hear older sibling laughing, but it's okay, because you know what? That's why we agree to disagree. Okay. So again, have complete control of your own thoughts. Don't let other people's attitudes and moods and just ickiness bring you down, because you know what? When you show them that, you know, that there is a better way, they might see it and they might find their own healing. That's what was so wonderful about that mental health community I found. A lot of different people going through a lot of different things, some very similar to my own, some, you know, I mean, I know that everybody's trauma is personal and themselves, but for me, some of them were just so icky that I reminded myself to be grateful for the fact that my traumas were different. I had wonderful, beautiful, amazing parents. Well, have and had. And without them, I really think I would have been a statistic. Without, you know, this ability to disappear during bad things, I could have been a statistic. But I really attribute it to them giving me, you know, the tools and the love that I needed that helped me to just disappear during bad things, because it reminded me it will be okay. I'll be okay. Maybe not right now, but I will be okay. And that's what we have to remember. Strength is not always easy to come by, but we all have it in us. You just have to be brave enough and courageous enough to pull it out of you, to remind yourself that you are this incredible human being, and to move out of the thoughts that people have trained you to believe, and to be in control of who you are and your own thoughts. Okay, so, again, you have no real control over anybody else's vibration, so don't try, just let it go. Be your own person. Put out there what you want to put out there. You know, I fill up my page sometimes I might go a little rogue on the positivity, but, I post a lot of positive stuff because I do struggle. And I have people saying, wow, you post so much positive stuff. And these people literally think that I'm just like Pollyanna running around, you know, or I don't know, some kind of like rainbow bright or a Care Bear. Okay. No, I can run the range of all the Care Bears. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I can, you know, one day I'm, you know, the one with the little cloud on him, or the little grumpy one, or the sunshine one, or the rainbow one, or the love one. It depends on the day. And that's everybody. You know, maybe that should be a chart. Someone should make a chart. Which Care Bear are you today? Which Care Bear do you want to be today? So, you know, I think I'll make that one for myself. I think I will make that one for myself. So, which Care Bear do you want to be today? And which one are you? That's exactly it. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Please do take care of yourselves. It is Self-Care Wednesday. I know we didn't do any self-care stuff, but I think really this card today was really kind of hit spot on with the self-care and these cards, you know, be in your flow, and, you know, you live in this waking dream. So, you know, do things for yourself. Or even the Gemini card where, you know, your word is your wand, and, you know, sometimes we talk too much. Sometimes we say too much, and people may not want that. People just may need you to listen. And sometimes it's all we have to do. I've talked about this a lot in the past on the perspective where I've, you know, almost messed things up with, you know, a very important cousin of mine baby sibling. And we've talked about this before, and she gave me permission to talk about it, where I really did overstep because I just don't want to see people I care about be hurt. And that was a long time ago. Well, not that long. It was long enough ago. But we're back in a good place now. And I'm grateful for that. But it was also a lesson I had to learn. I can't fix anyone. I can only fix myself. I can only heal myself. But I can set good examples for other people. I can show people that there's a more beautiful place to live, a better mindset. And, for some of us, it's going to take work. But, every day or every other day or on certain occasions, it might take a lot of work. I will say this, on this path of healing, I spend less days doing major mental health maintenance because I evaluate every day. Where am I today? Which Care Bear am I today? Okay, so I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll see you back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Facebook Live, under Shelley Marie Lucas. All lives are public. Anybody can jump in and watch them, whether we're friends or not on Facebook. I do upload these to YouTube afterwards. Today will be a little late because I do have to pack up and leave. But, literally pack up and leave. But I will upload these later to YouTube. I also share these to my Facebook page, The Aloha Perspective. If you want to like either one of them, go like it and subscribe to it, because sometimes these messages are pretty damn good. And I don't take credit for it. It comes out of my mouth. It comes out of my mouth from somewhere. Okay. I'm just the vessel. But, and I do share them to Twitter, excuse me. And I do a short version where I just will be reading these cards, excuse me, on TikTok. And I share those to Instagram as well. All right. So again, have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Hang in there. And thank you for hanging in there on this talk. And remember, your thoughts are your own and your word is your wand. So make it something pretty, make it something wonderful. And most importantly, speak kindly to yourself and others. That shouldn't need to be said, but definitely what needs to be said is speak kindly to yourself. Okay. Have a great day.